Hey, what's up, y'all? It's me, annoying as Dee, and today I wanted to talk about something with y'all. This is that is very important to me, and it's about things to think about when looking for a rental house. When you have to go find a house to rent because you haven't bought a house yet. So I just wanted to touch up on some things because now that I have been grown and I haven't accumulated the things that we need to buy a house, and we have to rent. And now that we are looking for homes to rent, it's like little things that I look for to make sure that we don't get sick, the house is not falling apart, and make sure we have a good landlord. And like, I just have a list of things that I want to go through, that I check for, that maybe would help you in the long run when you do decide, or if you are in the same boat as me and you're looking for a new place. First things first is study the area and the location that the home is in. The best time to do this, my mother has taught me, is to go there after 5, when everybody is home from school and everybody is home from work, and check the vibe out around the area around that time. And you can see the quality of the neighborhood at that time. You'll see the true quality of the area. It could be quiet. You'll see kids outside playing, people outside working on their cars, which I don't mind. But if I do see loud music, if I smell certain aromas in the air, that's a no-go for me, because that's just a sign for trouble. And the last neighborhood we were in, it was kind of crazy that at least twice a month the fire department was at this certain house, and then come to find out the reason why the fire department was at that house was because the woman there, she was ODing. So now when it's time to look for a place, I just look for the red flags, and those are one of my red flags, is to pay attention to your surrounding area. Another thing is research your landlord before you make that final commitment and you sign your name on that lease, because you need to know. There should be a background check for the landlord and the way that they operate their homes, and there should be a way to check that. I've never really thought to go into depth of the background of a landlord, but if there's a possibility that we can look up the background report on the landlord, please let me know, because they should also have to sign and pay a background fee for us to live in their home and for us to pay their rent. You understand? Because you have to understand how much you're going to be paying at the end of the year. Holy. Let me tell you, numbers add up. So imagine if you're paying $1,000 a year. I mean, not a year, $1,000 a month. You're going to be paying $10,200. My math may be wrong. About $12,000 something. Let me verify that, and I'll be right back. So you're going to be paying about $12,000 a year. Now imagine if you're there for 2 years. That's $24,000 you don't put in somebody's pocket. And then you stay there for another year, that's 36. You understand? Like all that money that you're spending on paying the rent for someone, that's money that you could be collecting in equity from owning your own home. You know what I'm saying? And it's just crazy, you know, how this whole rental situation is. But as I was saying, that get to know your landlord. Ask as many questions as you possibly can. You need to know that, okay, because you know you could be living there and then the following year he's gonna wanna, just because you've been able to pay your rent on time every month for the past year, he's gonna want to increase that rent because he knows that you have it. You may not even have it, but he's going to think that you have it because you have been consistently paying that rent. Another thing, if you find a house that you're interested in, go and check it out before you meet with the landlord. Check out the outside. See how the outside is looking. Because the way the upkeep of the house on the outside is going to tell you about the landlord, a little bit about the landlord and his home maintenance before you go ahead and meet up with him to see the inside of the home. You know, you want to make sure that the grass is cut. My little thing is like the driveway. Like I can't stand a dirty driveway, but like I don't want to settle. You know what I'm saying? Be careful. And then JJ, can you turn this TV down for mommy? And you want to check the stability of the mailbox. Make sure the mailbox is in standing condition. You don't want no leaning mailbox. You know what I'm saying? Because that means people, more than likely, somebody can't drive around in the area and they don't hit the mailbox and ain't nobody try to take the time to fix the mailbox. Right? So, then let's say you meet with the landlord, right? As soon as you walk in the house, you want to check for a smell. Okay? You want to check for a smell. Now, I know what a wet house smells like going through storms in Florida and things like that. Like I can tell when the house, it needs to be, like something is wrong. There's this really wet cardboard smell that you should keep in mind of, because that smell can indicate moisture somewhere. And if there's moisture somewhere, then there more than likely it's going to be some type of mold buildup in that area. And then what else is there? Oh, and then like you want to check the refrigerator, that refrigerator smell. And if anything has a smell to it, that means the landlord is not upkeeping with the house as well as he should be. That's the thing. You have to be aware of a slumlord and a good landlord. And a slumlord, he's not, more likely, He's probably into debt, and he's just looking for a quick fix, and he just wants someone to hurry up and get in the home so he can, reap whatever benefit that he's looking for. So more than likely that's going to be a slumlord type of home, when there's smells in the house, and then certain areas aren't clean, and it's just crazy. Next thing you want to check for is cracks. Cracks in the walls, cracks in the ceilings, cracks anywhere. Check for cracks, because if there's a crack, then more than likely there's a leak or something's wrong with the foundation. Something is wrong, and then with cracks, insects can get into the home, and it's just a pain. You want to check for mold. One of the places that you can check for mold is what is it called? The wall borders. Check those. Normally, the closer to the floor, if there's like some type of discoloration, like if it's a white border and then you see like this black discoloration underneath, or a green or orange or pink, that's going to be mold.
Mama, we don't need it.
Be careful.
Why?
Because I just want you to be careful. Thank you.
That piece is broken.
Yes, that piece is broken. Mold in the bathroom, and that's a deal breaker for me. Mold in the bathroom.
Come on. Get out.
In the tile, because that can be easily cleaned. The thing is that if there's mold in the bathroom and you clean it, and then let's say the following week you see a quick buildup of mold, there's mold in the house somewhere. So you want to check for mold in any area around where there's moisture, the bathroom, the kitchen, and even in the garage. Pay attention to the yard maintenance. If the grass is tall, mice like tall grass. They can hide easily in the grass. And if there's tall grass, then you'll probably have some type of rodents in the home. Depending on how secure the home is outside. So you want to pay attention to the AC unit on the outside. Make sure the upkeep of the AC unit is really good. If not, like in the middle of the summer, the AC unit will shut off, and then sometimes the landlord won't be able to make it out there. Let's say you call him on Friday, and he'll be like, oh, I won't be able to make it there until Monday. And then it's kind of like, it's illegal to be in the home in Florida without AC. So, and he'll probably try to leave you in the home over the weekend. You know what I'm saying? And make sure your home has window screens, because sometimes it's good, not sometimes, but it's good to air out your home.
And make sure that your glass doesn't have like a crash mark, like
a crack.
Yeah,
like the house that we saw. That's why I made this, because we went to go see a house the other day, and it was just crazy how it was just crazy how there was a dent in the garage door. There was you walk inside, the sliding glass door would look like somebody threw a brick at it, but it shattered, but it didn't shatter completely, and the glass didn't fall out, but it's shattered. It's a shattered glass door. So, and then the handle on the door wasn't there, and the bathroom. I'm like, how in the hell are you really going to sit up here and give someone a tour allow someone to take a tour of this home when it's in this type of condition, and then you're going to let us know that there's a crack in the door, but you would be able to fix it. You guys are going to get to that. Like, come on, son. You should have been able to get to that as soon as it happened. Why didn't you immediately fix it? You know what I'm saying? Then when you walk into the home, you want to make notice of if the AC is on. You know, because if the AC is on, then that landlord probably is not he's probably not in debt, because he's able to provide comfort to people, to future tenants, when they come and tour the home. Because maybe somebody comes and wants to tour the home and they have to go to the bathroom. But then they go to the bathroom and they can't flush the toilet because the water's not on. And then the water's not on, so therefore the next people that come and tour it, guess what they're going to see? They're going to see piss in the toilet. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And then for you not to go and try to fix that, like, you're looking for a quick fix. And, you know, it's just crazy. Be careful. Check the cabinets, because when you check the cabinets, you want to check for bug crumbs. And when I mean by bug crumbs, I'm talking about bug poop. If you see like little bits of dirt just scattered along the cabinets and stuff, that's bug poop. So you're gonna have a bug infestation. And then you want to check for if there are any dead bugs in the cabinets. You also want to check if the stove is clean. You know what I'm saying? Even though you're probably going to go in there and clean it anyways, but you want to go in there and you really don't want to move in anywhere and then have to clean up behind the last people. You know what I'm saying? Like, the landlord should have been able to clean the house, get it ready for the next tenant. You know, paint it. And I don't understand that. Why wouldn't you do that? Like, these people are spending their hard-earned money to pay your rent, which you are capitalizing on, because they're going to charge you twice as much as what the mortgage is anyways. What else? Yeah, you want to check for bug crumbs, dead bugs, maybe little poops. I want to say they look like it's not little raisins. Yeah, they're like little raisins. If you get like a little black poop thing about that big, probably got mice. Then you want to check for stains, like bed stains, like when people have their beds up against the wall. Sometimes it leaves like a dirt stain on the wall. You want to check for that. You want to check for water stains on the wall. That could be from a leak. You want to check for stains in the bathtub. Like a hard water stain is going to be like hard water stains normally come from a leak and from the water just keep touching that one spot over and over again. They have a certain solution for that the landlord can use to get rid of it. But instead, they want you to use your money that you're using to pay for it. And then on top of that, not only do you have to give them a deposit, you still have to pay the deposit for water. You still have to pay the deposit for electric. And then you still got to move in. So it's kind of like it's already a big process to get in the door. Why would you make it an even more difficult process? Now, the house needs to be cleaned, and the mailbox got to be realigned, and you got to cut the grass, and it's a headache. Oh, then another thing you want to check for little air spaces, not as a crack, but not necessarily like a broken glass crack, but a space crack in between the wall and the window frame and the door frame. If you can see outside through a little crack between the window frame or the door frame, you're going to have insects coming in easily. Not only that, it's going to make your electricity bill really, really high, because the AC is not only cooling down your home, it's also going to be trying to cool down outside. So, and that's including cooling down and heating up. And you want to be aware of that, because people build these houses and they be half-assing, and you don't want no half-ass landlord, okay? Especially if you are a great tenant and you pay all your rent and you pay all your bills when they're supposed to be paid. Check my personal thing is I like privacy. Like, I don't like it when houses are so close together, like they're 5 feet away from each other, 10 feet away. Like, I need at least 20-30 feet away from the house that I am in to the next house. That's just because, like, noise, you can hear other people, they can hear you, and if there's a storm, their home can fall on you, your home can fall on them, and there's a storm, things from their yard that's so close to yours will end up in your yard. I mean, from their yard will end up in your yard. And I just like having my space. That's just me personally. Like, and then, like, let's say you have a window. Like, I like keeping my windows open, but I don't want my neighbors opening their window and then they can peer into my window and then I can see into their window, and it's like, how you doing? I don't want to have to go through that all the time. And plus, sometimes I don't like to, like, when I take a shower, when I get out the shower, I want to come and sit in my towel and just sit for a little minute, until I'm ready to get dressed. Check for, okay, so when you see your landlord, right, and you're asking him questions, check for his body language. His hands are crossed. You're making him feel uncomfortable. He's not comfortable with the questions that you're asking because he's not going to tell you the truth. And he's not going to be willing to put in the work that you're looking for him to put in the work, just in case something happens in that home. Another thing is, another way to know that you are making the landlord uncomfortable is if they're clearing their throat. That's with anybody, actually. You want to check for him clearing his throat when you're speaking to him. You want to notice eye contact. You want to make sure he's making eye contact with you. If he's not showing that he's open to you, then he's not going to be a good landlord. I can guarantee you that. Next, read your lease. Don't sign on that paper until you read your lease thoroughly, because it can say there's no mold in this house, right? And you signed that lease saying that there's no mold in this house, and then a week later you got mold buildup in your house, right? So now your landlord is not responsible. Well, he is responsible, but at the same time, it's like he can up the rent saying that it was you who was responsible for bringing the mold in the house. You understand? Now, I may be wrong. He may not be able to do that, but some will try. Well, they would say, well, I had to do these repairs, and I had to do this repair, and I had to fix this, and I had to clear this out. So therefore, they may want to raise the rent due to the maintenance or the wear and tear that they said that the tenant is doing on the home. So just be mindful of that. Read your lease. Please read your lease. Read your lease, okay? Another thing you want to check for, holes along the roof. So you know how the roof is, right? Let's say my hand is the roof, right? My face is the house, okay? This part of the roof underneath it, where normally the ventilation is, you want to make sure there's no hole in those vents. Any holes in your ceiling, any holes anywhere along the home, you want to be mindful of, especially if they're not there, a part of the part of the construction of the home. You can tell that they're not a part of the construction of the home, because normally if it's part of the construction of the home, the hole would be perfectly made. Now, if you find a hole that is not perfectly made and it has a bunch of ridges along the hole, that has been made by a rodent, and that there's rodents in that home, or there's a way for the rodents to get in the home. If there isn't rodents in that home, by the time you move into that home, it's going to be rodents in that home if the holes haven't been sealed. I would say test your landlord out. Be like, hey, there's something wrong with this. See how fast he gets there to you. You understand? He may say, oh, now let's say you go into this home, right? And the landlord says, don't worry, I'm going to clean it, I'm going to clean it, I'm going to clean it, right? He said, by the time you guys sign a lease and you move in, the house will be clean. Now you go, you sign a lease, you go in the house, and the house is in the same condition as it was when you first saw it. Now what's going to happen is, you're going to say, I want my deposit back, I want to leave, Then they're going to have some type of contingency to keep some of your deposit. You see what I'm saying? So I would rather not give them the benefit of the doubt. I would rather just go and be picky and find something that I'm going to be comfortable with, and not have to settle. You don't want to settle. If you have to, I know sometimes you're going to have to settle due to certain conditions that you're in. But if you don't have to, don't do it. Don't do it. Because you're going to be upset. You're going to be mad. You're going to be beating yourself up for even giving them the benefit of the doubt. Because now you stuck in this lease for a whole 365 days. And then you got to sit up here and pay this person this certain amount of money. And you want to keep your good tenant rate. And you don't want that eviction on your record, because it's a pain in the ass, and then they gonna want more than 2 times, 3 times the rent. They gonna ask for an additional amount if you have an eviction on your background account. So, but if it does come down to it, what you can do is to avoid them trying to take the deposit, or trying to take your deposit if you want to leave. What you can do is take that money, your rent money, take it to the county clerk's office and tell them that you want to put in the account for such and such address for such and such reason. And what they're going to do is they're going to send a letter to your landlord stating rent has been withheld for such and such reasons, and then they won't get that rent until they fulfill their part of the lease by keeping up with the home. You can say it was a verbal agreement, and they were supposed to do this and they didn't do it. So, and then he may want to file for an eviction. So it's just a pain in the ass either way. That's why I say don't try and settle. Get what you want. Please get what you want. If you can possibly, I know some people may not be able to do this, but get what you want. As you say, we want move in ready, where all I have to do is spray and the wipe down. You know what I'm saying? Because even though the house is moving ready, I'm going to want to still go in there and clean it out. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. I'm going to want to go and clean it out. I'm going to want to go and just refresh everything. Even if it's new construction, I still want to go in there and wipe down the refrigerator, wipe down the oven and the stove, and just do a whole new, just clean it. That's just what I like to do. And know what you are going to spend for the entire year. You want to know how much you're going to be spending on rent. You want to know how much you're going to be spending on electric. You want to know how much you're going to be spending on water. So that way you can plan accordingly and get whatever done that you need to get done, and know what you're spending and know your worth. Basically, like, look, this is how much I'm going to be spending with you this year. So I expect a certain respect from you. You know what I'm saying? If I'm a good tenant and I pay my rent on time every month, I expect a certain level of respect from you. And
So what this is like when people trick you and stuff for your money.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when Dre said he's gonna play with me, but then he ran away and then took my bed spot.
Yeah, you just gotta be careful with those type of people. You can't be falling for that type of stuff, Zay.
Mama, I know the bed. Say he's gonna play with me for real this time. Look at me.
So, like, you're gonna be spending $12,000 with these people. That's a lot of money. You know, you're spending $1,000 with these people each month, and it's a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? Even if you are rich and you have it, you're going to be spending these, you're basically paying their bills for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, their mortgage is not $1,000. Okay? So, you're going to be paying their mortgage. You're probably paying the mortgage at the house that you're in, and the mortgage of their house too, more than likely. Okay? So you're doing them more of a favor than they are doing you. For real. Yeah. I'm making the video, babe. Come on, after. I said check the AC. Make sure it's not rusty. Check your water heater. You don't want a rusty water heater.
So what she's saying is make sure your house is perfect before you buy it, and make sure they don't have a smug on their face or something, to make sure if they're not lying to you about the house or not.
Yeah, you got it. You don't want any rusty equipment around the house, okay? Because if it's rusty, then it's going to start acting up. Oh, another thing. You want to know if you're getting well water or city water. If you're getting city water, you're getting water from the city. There's a pipe that all your waste is going to, and then there's a pipe that you're receiving water from the city, right? Now, if you're receiving well water, that's a little pain in the ass. Because if you're receiving well water, then you're probably on a septic tank. And if you're probably on a septic tank, you want to make sure that there is no smell outside. If there is a smell outside, then that septic tank probably has a crack in it, and you're going to have waste coming up, rising up out of the septic tank.
It makes make sure there's not bugs in your house, tarantulas in your house, any bug or animal in your house. You need to get rid of it or leave the house.
Thank you.
Oh, and also you need to make sure there's not any like ant piles around your house.
That's a good one. Ant piles.
Because I saw a perfect yellow house, but then Daddy said it has ants in it.
Yeah. And then septic tank. And it can get into your shower water. I don't know how that works, but I'm trying to stay as far away from a septic tank as possible, because you never know if the landlord is emptying it out the way that he's supposed to empty it out.
Wait a second, and one more thing. Don't make sure the bug, before you get rid of the bugs or animals, make sure they're not poisonous or anything, because they could bite you, which would make you like unconscious or something, or like sting you.
Did you hear this terrible voice actor? Listen.
If you are on a septic tank, you need to ask, how often is the septic tank emptied? If it's every 1 to 2 years, then you are in good hands. If you can smell it, then you're not. But I hope I've given you all the accurate information that I possibly can. I've just given you some of the examples of our experiences and what we have gone through with certain landlords. I thought somebody was trying to get inside the door. You just got to be aware if you can't be as picky as you want to be. I say wait till you can. Wait till you can. Stack up. And then even if you do, like, let's say you save up about $3,000, right? You probably can use it as a down payment on getting a manufactured home, you know? I would suggest that you look into it, or a condo, because it's stuff out there that you can use that money to buy something instead of having to rent it out. Right now we are renting because it's certain things that we need to go ahead and purchase a home, and that's what we're working on right now. I just wanted to, share you guys that info, because renting can be a pain in the ass, and then you got to go through approval with the company that they're in. And I just believe that landlords should have the same requirement where they get to go through a background report, and you get to see not necessarily what the tenant was up to, but how the landlord treated its tenants, and what type of incentives that they received at the end of the year if they re-signed the lease. And because you can ask for that, ask for new things like a new stove or a new oven, if you re-sign a lease with your landlord, or you want a carpet clean or whatever. But you really just, if you're a good tenant, you really want to have a good landlord, you know. So it's a give and take, you know what I'm saying? And it's just balancing of the scales, you know. I know it's hard for some, and be aware of scammers. Please be aware of scammers. If they don't have a email, or if they don't have both, if they don't have an email and a phone number, more than likely it's a scam. If you call someone with a phone number and they're like acting all anxious and stuff, and are talking real fast, and they just trying to hurry up and buy, it's probably a scam. If it's too good to be true, it's probably a scam. Sad to say it, but it's probably a scam. I thank God for my husband sometimes, because I'm like, they're too good to be true. Somebody probably would have got my money, but my husband is like, call him, and I call him, and then it'll just be some BS and just a pain in the butt. But anyways, I'm gonna let y'all go. I've been talking a lot. I appreciate y'all time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If I did share any inaccurate information
Ring the
with
bell.
you, please let me know. Because I'm here to learn.
I said ring the bell.
I'm here to learn just as well as you. And I appreciate y'all.
Now, ring
I
the
love
bell.
y'all. Thank you. It's Annoying as Dee Dee signing out. Peace.
I got a hoverboard.